What do you think a credit card is? What do you think when you go in and cash one thing? I mean, they've had cities in the U.S. for 200 plus years that have their own local currencies. Every major European city has it. The little island of Guernsey, a British protectorate, has had it for hundreds of years. They have the British pound and they have the Guernsey. I mean, cities put out their own currencies. What do you think a gift certificate is? But see, people are getting into gold and silver. Now, 9 states have passed or are passing the state issuing its own silver and gold. Oh, are you? See, the feds are panicking. Well, let's get some guy and burn him and get the federal jury to convict him. What next? You going to start arresting the governors of South Carolina and Wyoming? Or Colorado? Oh, I heard Texas is talking about introducing one. Are we going to arrest the Speaker of the House here? We had an alien foreign banking cartel in 1913 take over and set up the private income tax, and 100% of that, as Ronald Reagan's commission found in 81, goes to not run the country. Every time Ron Paul's on TV, they go, or almost every time I see him, they go, how are we going to run the government if we get rid of the IRS? And Paul always goes, well, we built this Capitol right behind me. He'll be out in front of the Capitol. Before 1913, we had a 10% growth rate on average from the founding of the country to 1913. Now on average, it's about 3%. We had more savings, more wealth. Every dime you pay to the IRS, every stinking dime goes to interest on the debt. Because when a dollar is created, the Federal Reserve has to be given $1 in debt. It's designed to take the greatest nation, the wealthiest nation on earth, and make it a enslaved, impoverished system. Now, continuing, because I have stacks of these. You already heard it's terrorism. They will infiltrate. They will defeat people that dare talk bad about the Federal Reserve. That's why they really went after Bernard von Noothouse, because for 13 years, he traveled the country and went on national TV shows and was very popular, talking bad about the Federal Reserve and printed coins with Ron Paul's face on them. We got SWAT teams. We raided you. We got a jury putting you in prison. Ha, 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 ha. And don't worry, we're not going to stop. Every week, I see the Globalist SWAT teaming Amish for, you were putting up too much dust. It violated a local environmental regulation. Oh, you were selling your cheeses at the town market, and those didn't have proper certification. And the cops always put on big shows and put them in handcuffs and have SWAT teams because the Amish are so dangerous. Their whole religion is being passive and submitting. But we've got to act like they're bad. We've got to, so evil. I want liberty. I want the Bill of Rights. I want family to be left alone. I want the Second Amendment, the right to defend yourself, to be left alone. I want the right to be a red-blooded, free person, not the property of the globalist. I want my republic back. And when I see tyranny being unfolding and being sold that is so over the top, it's cartoonish, I get angry. They're trying to break our will. Now, I keep saying I wanted to just read you the headlines, and of course I can never do it because I start reading one headline and I want to tell you what's going on behind it. But just remember, all over the nation, the little guy, the family. Oh, you don't want to give your kid a flu shot? We're going to take him from you. But there's no law. We don't care. Our family courts were set up under eugenics 100 years ago, and there isn't due process. It's what we want to do. So they take your kid. You see, this is a lawless government, ladies and gentlemen, and if they can get away with that, they can get away with anything. This is an illegitimate government at every level, and people better get that through their heads. No one is safe under this. Many times, when I'm focused and on the front line, I have no fear. But many times at 2, 3 a.m., I wake up, and it's not even fear. It is guilt that to defend this republic, I haven't fled with my family out of this country. It is guilt. I have to sit there and say, man, I need to be selfish. I need to get out of here. And then I realize there's nowhere to run. Then I'm like, I better than work even harder to wake people up. We got to reverse this because this tyranny is murderous. This is one of the most nasty forms of corrupt government you can get. Their white papers are public about what they're already doing. You hear about, the UN got caught again adding live polio to shots in Latin America, in Africa, and Asia. BBC, AP, CBS News. Just search it. UN polio shots kill. You'll get all the mainstream, but it's like, oh, well, no big deal. Oh, the U.S. government was injecting little kids in a vaccine program all over Latin America with live syphilis. Oh, we're real sorry. The media doesn't ask, why were you injecting them knowingly with live syphilis? Well, we're just sorry. We don't want to talk about it. We're sorry we got caught. They're eugenicists. It came out of England 160 years ago in the 1850s. Hitler was a spinoff of it. It runs everything. Look, I told you 16 years ago, all babies at birth in the Western world, already under a covert global government that's coming out in the open, have your blood taken and be put in a secret database where they test bioweapons and look at genes and sell it off to private biotech companies. It's now public, 2 years, totally admitted, exactly as I said. I had the documents 15, 16 years ago, sent to me by a nurse inside Black Ops in San Antonio. I got death threats over revealing this, and the listeners are like, listen to crazy man. I told you under the Telecommunications Act of 96 that all phones are tracked lifetime by the government via GPS triangulation off the cell towers. I read from the Telecommunications Act, just like I just read from the FBI website, saying issuing your own silver coins is terror and threatens America, and you will be infiltrated, you will be arrested. I just read to you the year-long infiltration, spying of an Amish group publicly doing something legal, selling their neighbor's milk, and the feds finally did all this, got the milk, took it across state lines. They are criminals. They go after the good people, their property, and they, like wolves, cut the sheep out, cut one of the weak out, and target them, set their precedent on them. And they got a bunch of brainwashed cops and people, folks, that think silver's illegal, that think $2 bills. That's why all the time people at a movie theater pay with a $2 bill, cops show up. You try to pay with $2 bills at Best Buy, you're arrested. And they don't apologize. $2 bills with the Declaration of Independence, folks, are real. They've been out for decades. They don't care. So, real crime is ignored. I want to open the phones up coming up the next hour. Let me just first mention to you the news I have here, okay? Sting against raw Amish milk producer results in federal case. It's a sting. And see, it's all public. It's being sold, but they act like it's secret. And there's a sting and undercovers so that the weak-minded kind of halfway listening go, ooh, a sting against raw milk. Ooh. Oh, it's dirty. How about some stings against the corrupt government? How about an investigation of the government growing the opium in Afghanistan? Oh, well, that's our government. It's good that they do that. Well, then why do you arrest people that are using it? The victims of it. Well, let's just not discuss that common sense statement. But the good news is more than 22 states are moving or have already moved, and I've had district attorneys on this show. Texas bill would make invasive pat-downs a felony, Fox News. AP article posted at Fox News. A former Miss USA claims of being groped. Well, they admit they stick their hands down the pants. Ron Paul's had his genitals grabbed. On this show, he broke down that happened to him. Same thing with Governor Ventura. It's admitted. A former Miss USA claims of being groped during a pat-down at Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. Could be a felony under a bill gaining momentum in the Texas legislature. Oh, wait a minute. Remember 2 weeks ago, after that controversy with the little girl, we posted it first at InfoWars, then Drudge picked it up, went supernova. Appreciate DrudgeReport.com driving it through the electronic Berlin Wall and getting it out there. And then it showed the video of them sticking the hands in the 6-year-old's pants, and the other little kids crying, saying, I don't want that to happen to me, Mommy. And I've had the mother on. And Napolitano came out and said, that is a proper pat-down. That's not groping. She says it's not groping. See, when the Army and Marine Corps grow the opium, that's not drug dealing. But then when an idiot 20-year-old gets caught selling a heroin balloon for $10, they go to jail for 10 years. When the government sticks their hands down your pants and gropes a 6-year-old, it's protection and good and fighting Al-Qaeda, something we have to do to keep America safe. If you do it to somebody in a park, you're going to get 20 years in prison for sexual assault, and you should. See, it's different rules for them as they set the precedent. And no matter how many come out to be perverts, child molesters, criminals, thieves, robbers, bank robbers, TSA doesn't get in trouble. They're creating an army of folks that like to do this. I mean, who in their right mind would want the job of sitting there sticking their hands down people's pants all day? People say, well, you should go through the scanner. They do it after the scanner. This was done to her after the scanner. A former Miss USA claims of being groped during a pat-down at Dallas-Fort Worth. She's crying in the video. We first posted it. Drudge picked it up, went big, showing the power of the show again. A former Miss USA claims of being groped during a pat-down at Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport could be a felony under a bill gaining momentum in the Texas legislature. It's already a felony. If a cop pulls over people randomly, they can write the ticket. They can't stick the hands down the pants. A cop would go to jail. These aren't even sworn peace officers. It's already illegal, as district attorneys have already said here. But the state's saying they're going to pass laws just to let them know it's illegal. The bill would make it illegal for a security officer to intentionally touch someone's private areas, even top clothing. Well, I've read the law at state and federal. It's a misdemeanor on the surface. But whatever, good, make it a felony. Unless they have probable cause to believe the person is carrying something illegal. Bill sponsorship Representative David Simpson says the searches are removing people's dignity. I want him on. Last fall, the Transportation Security Administration started a new pat-down procedure. Susie Costello, Crown Miss USA, said she was molested during a pat-down last April. Continuing here. Now, we're going to be talking about that. Here's some of the other news. Regardless of what you think of Muammar Gaddafi, he made a deal 6 years ago with the West to give up his WMDs and be friendly. And it's illegal to try to kill a head of a state, and that's why they keep rocketing and bombing his houses and government buildings. They keep saying, oh, we're not trying to kill you. This time they attacked his son's house while he was in it and killed his son and a bunch of his grandkids. And it says that the al-Qaeda groups in the East were celebrating, chanting Allah Akbar. The attack struck the house of Gaddafi's youngest son, Saif al-Arab, when the Libyan leader and his wife were inside. White House spokesman declined to comment. Now, everybody's celebrating. Kill that bad guy. Meanwhile, admitted al-Qaeda is the core of the group attacking him, and it has nothing to do with humanitarian. It's all about taking over that giant airbase he built for commercial uses, the huge aqueducts he's built. I've talked to reporters that have been there. It looks like Space City or something. He's put so much money into everything. The bankers want to siphon all that money out. Plus, Gaddafi has been helping other African countries build up their infrastructure, and they don't like it. Meanwhile, it's now been admitted the story about his rape teams, NBC's had to admit, and them giving him Viagra was all made up. Just like the babies being thrown out of the incubators during the Kuwait invasion came out of a New York PR firm. It was all made up. The little girl's testimony, everything. That's admitted to be fake. They're manipulating you. They love it while they grow the opium and ship it in. We'll be right back. Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.